All right, chapter 2, section 4, multiplying integers. Check out my fancy background. Okay, it's not that exciting. Moving on. Let's go. All right, on the bright side, there's no new vocabulary on this one. Yay! All right, key concept number 1. When multiplying two integers by different signs, so that means one's a positive, one's a negative. So I'd have like x is like this, negative y. It's going to have a negative sign, and then whatever the answer is. Same concept. So 4 times a negative 3 will come out to a negative 12. You know, if you have, I don't know if we've gone over this yet, but when you have parentheses, there's technically a multiplication sign in there. Because I haven't gone over that, there you go. Same thing over here. Negative 3 times 4 would be like having negative x times y will be a negative number for the end. So negative 12. So negative times a positive is a negative, and a positive times a negative equals a negative. That's really what we need to know. Okay, when multiplying two integers with the same sign, so 4 times 3 is going to be 12, and they're all positive. Positive, positive, positive. Here's where it gets tricky. If you have negative times a negative, it's going to equal a positive. So kind of like yesterday's stuff with the negative subtraction. So we had to subtract let's do that here. This minus this. Those two together equaled a positive x. Sorry, my pencil is not too great here, so it ended up being a positive. Same thing there. Multiply a negative times a negative turns into a positive. Let's see what that looks like in some homework problems. So 8 times a negative 12. The signs are different. So since the factors have different signs, the product is going to be negative. So I would probably just punch these into my calculator. 8 minus 12 is going to equal negative 96. So yeah, the big key here, I'm pretty sure you're going to put most of these into your calculator, but what you got to keep a track of is the negative side. Okay, so negative 9 times 11. So that would be 99 since the signs are different. So signs are different. That means the product has to be negative. So 9 times 11 is 99. Signs are different, negative. So my answer is going to be negative 99. All right, pause this, give it a shot. Don't forget the negative signs. All right, so negative 4 times 12, since the signs are opposite, it's going to be a negative number. So 4 times 12 is going to be 48. So negative 48. 6 times a negative 2. So signs are different, so it's going to be negative. 6 times 2 is 12. Put my 12 there. Ta-da! Right, negative 4 times a negative 16. Okay, signs are the same, so that means it's come out to a positive number. Two factors have the same sign. The product is positive. So 4 times 16 is 64, positive. All right, pause that, give it a shot. All right, so negative 3 times a negative 8. Negative times a negative means it's going to be a positive. 3 times 8 is 24. So it comes out to positive 24. All right, multiplying 3 things together. So I would take these 2 at a time. Just do order of operations, left to right. So let's see what they do. All right, so they associative property, left to right. They do the first 2. So negative 7 times 11. Negative 7 and a positive 11 means it's going to be a negative 77. Negative 77 equals negative 77. So I have negative 77 times a negative 2. Negative times a negative is a positive. So 77 times 2 comes out to 154, positive, because these 2 cancel each other out and turn it into a positive. All right, pause this, give it a shot. All right, so I'm going to start on the left. So I'm going to go 5 and -3. Those two together are going to be a negative number, so -15. What's in there was 8 over here too. Terrible 8, sorry. So bring my 8 with me. -15 times 8. Going to be a negative number because they're different signs. Multiply those together is a 120. Bam, -120. All right, multiple choice items. You might see this on every single test. A student missed only 4 problems on a test. Each test is worth 20 points. What's the total number of points he has missed? So we have 5, -5, -20, 24, or 80. All right, so the word he missed means he's only losing those points. So the loss per problem is -20. Multiply each of that 4 times would be a total number of points lost. So it would be 4 times a -20. 4 times -20 is -80. We go back and look at our answers. A, B, C, D is -80. So the answer would be D. I'm going to be nice and let you skip that one. All right, so you might end up seeing a variable in here too. So you just treat it as, you just tack that K onto, or the variable onto whatever's there. So we just treat -7 and 6. They're opposite signs, so it's going to be a negative sign. Oh, they like to do it that way. That's fine too. So -7 times 6 is going to be is going to end up being -42, and then the K ends up on the end. I would have probably just thought -7 and 6. Multiply those together. It's going to be a negative number. So a negative number, 7 times 6 is 42, and we'll keep the K. Their way is probably better. I'm skipping steps, so don't skip any steps. That's bad for you. All right, simplify 8a times a -5b. So they're going to split it all out into 4 different things here. So 8 times a times -5 times b. So then we can commutative property that together. So we're going to tack together the 8 and the -5 and the a and the b. So 8, -5, a, and b get tacked together. We'll do the first one. We'll computate those out there. 8 times 5 is 40. And then a times b is ab. So we just put that all in one long line. 40 ab. Sorry, -40 ab. All right, evaluate this together. So now that we figured out how to use the variables, now we might substitute things in at the end of the lesson. All right, so -3 and -4 and 9. So first we're going to substitute -4 for x and y and 9 for y. So we'll punch all those in here. -3 times a -4 times 9. Have to replace those substitutions in. We're going to just multiply left to right. -3 times a -4. It's going to be a positive number because the signs are the same. So it's going to be +12. And then we're going to multiply that by 9. Positive and positive is also going to stay positive. 108 is the product of those two being together. So our answer will be 108. All right, pause these, give it a shot. All right, so they like to use the associative property here. So they're going to want us to go -6 and times 2 and leave the c out here. Negative times a positive will be a negative number. 6 times 2 is 12, and then we'll keep the c. 5 times a -7n, 5m times a -7n, they're going to want to split this up to 5 times m times -7 times n. Let's put these together. 5 times a -7 times m times n. Put these together. These two together are going to be a negative number, -35. Put these together, mn. All right, substitute these in. -9 times a, let's say we'll put it in parentheses here, -3 times -6. Just go left to right. 9 times 3, positive, or negative will be a positive, so it'll be a positive 27 times a -6. Negative times, or positive times a negative is going to be a negative number. Punch those into my calculator. It's going to be a -162.